Don't move. Turn your fantasy football into reality. Here's CJ.
Hey, welcome back. I'm CJ. This is the Dirty Landry Experience, and this is part two of our sleepers, players that you want to have on either your redraft or dynasty for this season or next. These are the guys that I noticed over the weekend watching 64 hours of football. Ooh. And the Barbie movie. Let's not forget that. It's okay. Look, Ryan Tannehill is a good quarterback. If you have an opportunity to get him and all the elite players are gone, here's a guy that could easily throw for 4,000 yards this season. And if that's the case, you found yourself a good one. That's the idea of a player that you don't sleep on. Like, don't just ignore him. If he's around there, he's better than most of the guys in the league. He's not as good as the top guys. Well, probably not. But you never know as the season goes on what actually happens. But look at his receiver core. He's got Burks, that Phillips kid that started out the year great before he got hurt last year. He's in year two. And Hopkins. Plus, he's got that tight end everyone's talking about, that Okonkwo, and he's good. When things get tight, he hands the ball to King Henry. That's going to be a good team. Now, the reason that you want him on that team and not one of the other guys like Willis is because that team is set to win now. They have older players, expensive players, and they're ready to win, and they want to win now. So Ryan Tannehill is going to be their guy until it's determined whether they have an opportunity or not. And then it'll probably just be a sell-off if they don't do well this year. Maybe even coaching change, whatever. But they've got good coaching. They've got good players. Now they just need to put it all together. And Tannehill needs to pop for 4,000 plus yards this season to prove that he belongs on your dynasty and your redraft team. So there's a guy not to sleep on, a veteran. Not really a sleeper. But as far as sleepers go, I got a few of them here that might turn into good ones. But to me, when I say sleeper, I'm talking about a guy that nobody really knows about and everyone can get on waivers or should be able to get. And the one guy that I liked was the Seattle running back, that Bryant Kobach. Now, he was in Minnesota on their practice squad last year. And this year he's in Seattle. And on the weekend, he did pretty good. He had, if you're keeping track of PPR points, I had him at 10.5 PPR points for 5 carries, or averaging 5 yards a carry, and he caught 3 passes. So here's a kid who has an opportunity. And the reason he has an opportunity, or I think, is because the Seattle backfield is not exactly the picture of health. Name me one guy in that backfield that hasn't lost some time because of injury, other than the rookie Charbonnet, who was hurt in camp, did play on the weekend, but this Kobach, if there's problems in that Seattle backfield health-wise, might be a guy to grab for your team. Deuce Vaughn, hey look, there's a suspicion that Zeke's going to go back to Dallas after the preseason kind of thing. They'll kiss and make up, and he'll go back there at a discounted price. Don't count. If Deuce Vaughn is as good as he was on the weekend, there's your number 2, and he's good. You've got Pollard, then you'd have Vaughn. You've got Malik Davis, who's pretty good, and Rico Dowdle, who I think is probably better than everybody except Pollard there, except he's have health issues. So if you're looking for a sleeper running back or a handcuff, Deuce Vaughn, Rico Dowdle, not so much Malik Davis these days, but those are 3 guys that you could have on your dynasty team and just wait and see what happens with them. But I did enjoy watching Deuce on the weekend, even though, yes, I am a Dallas fan and probably I'm putting more into it than they should. But that's a guy that's worth it, you know. The New York Giants signed Cole Beasley. Come on, really? And I'm not, no disrespect to Beasley. I love the guy. I've had him on my teams for years, but now I got to go pick him. If he does well, it throws all my ideas out the window. He's a 34-year-old wide receiver who had retired and is now coming back. He plays one game in the exhibition. They play for 1 quarter, and he gets 4 catches, gets hammered, and keeps getting back up, and he's always open. Damn that. Why? Why can't you just go away? Now I have to consider putting you on a team and finding a guy to cut. And that's all that's going to happen. You're going to put him on your team, and then you're going to like, oh, why have I got him? And then he's going to just get points like he always does. I don't know. I mean, if you're it's late in the draft and he's there, grab him. You might have found yourself a gem, or preseason might be enough and you'll never see the guy again. But if he does play, he's fantasy worthy, especially in New York with all the receivers falling all over the place, you know. It's not exactly been a healthy team. Elijah Moore. He looked good. I think he's worth taking a chance on. If Deshaun Watson is the Deshaun Watson that he was, Elijah Moore is his kind of guy, and that could be a beautiful combination. Never mind Cooper and Donovan Peoples-Jones and such, but this guy, Elijah Moore, he was good 2 years ago. There's no reason why he can't be good again. You know, it's in a good spot. And let's talk about Washington. Now in Washington, there's a whole bunch of good young players on that team. Cole Turner as a tight end by the end of the year is probably going to be their tight end one, and that's always worthy to have on your team, no matter what kind of league it is, especially tight end premium. You also want to take a good long look at Rodriguez, the running back. I've have him on all my teams. I've had him there since draft time, and we draft early. So Rodriguez is a guy I think that you desperately want to have on your team. I think he's going to be the RB2 there. Now that's not a knock on Gibson, but there's Gibson, Robinson, and Rodriguez, and that three-pronged attack, you're going to have to know who to play and when, but Rodriguez is going to be a good National Football League player. You count on that one. And the last guy on my list here, don't sleep on Myles Gaskin. Okay, I know. In 20 and 21, he was the lead back in Miami. He had 1,800 combined yards in 2 years. 12 touchdowns and 90 passes, 350 fantasy points in 2 years. That was over 10 points a game. That was 10, 12 a game. He's sitting there in Miami right now as the fourth or fifth back in that field. But you look at the guys ahead of him, they're not exactly a picture of health. So anything goes wrong in their haywire in that backfield and Gaskin has to play, you've got yourself a 10 or 12 point running back because he can do it. He may not be as good as the others, but on your bench, a guy who you can put in if there's an issue, if he's playing, and we keep saying this, these are the running backs you want. If he plays, he gets 10 points. Some guys don't play a lot until there's an injury or suspension or something. Then when they play, they score points, and he's one of those guys. So don't be afraid to have him if you have room. And the other, just a tip for you, stay away from the San Francisco quarterback room. Just stay completely away for it. I don't know who to suggest. I don't know if Brock's the guy. I don't know if Trey Lance is anything. And Sam Darnold is, who knows, maybe with some good coaching and I don't know. So as far as San Francisco's quarterback room, just stay away from that one. I would take Baker Mayfield over any of those in any league format right now. Hey, I'm CJ. That's the Dirty Landry Experience, and that was part 2 of our sleeper show. I hope there's some names there that'll help you win your championship. I'm counting on them to help me win mine. Please please subscribe, send me questions, all about that. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day.